like through everything we both been through in our lives, we were there for each other, and I would never take that away from you. But what I don't like is that you wasn't man enough to have a conversation with your sister.
What's up, everybody? It's Sean Ryne and
Rosetta Marie in the freaking building.
Rosetta Marie in the freaking building. And we wanted to come to you and let you know that we have some exciting news that we are finally dropping a new single together. It's called Confessions. And today we just wanted to just give a little background on this song. And let me tell y'all something. It has been quite the journey to get here. Why don't we start telling them about it? So it's like this song,
mad too.
Right? Like we'll start with the beginning because the song started with you. So tell us where did the song start?
So Confessions, I originally wrote Confessions, I think around 2016-ish. It was like, it started off as like a passion project between me and a brother friend of mine. He's not my blood brother, but great friend at the time. We're no longer friends. I'm going to proclaim that because of the things that have happened. Not the kind of friend I want at this point, unless they come with some serious apologies. But anyway, I had known him back in the day for doing dancing and just that kind of entertainment industry stuff. And I found out through him that he was doing music for a while. And he was like, yo, sis, like we should work together, do some music together, da-da-da. So I was like, okay, like, let's do it. He had a mobile studio. He comes to the house. And you know how some people are just extra spiritual. And he's like, sis, I'm feeling that like you need to be doing a song sultry and sexy and romantic because like, I feel like you in love.
Right, this is a person who's like always waiting for the Holy Spirit to tell him what exactly
the Holy
we
Spirit
should be
told him to do
pulling
everything he do, even the bad stuff, okay? He's always like, sis, and he got his assholes, and he's like, we don't know what we're saying, so let's not do that no more. We don't want to put that kind of stuff in the house. But, so we ain't playing with God over here. So he starts getting all extra deep, and he was like, sis, I know this is the song you're supposed to be doing, da-da-da. So I said, all right, well, let me hear the beat. So he starts playing. He's a great musician. We wouldn't take that from him. He starts playing the keyboard with this beautiful melody. So me being the writer that I am, I start writing instantly off that song. We literally put that song together that day. 5 years after that, I see him at my cousin's video shoot. And he's like, whatever happened to that song, Confessions? Because I named it Confessions. So he's like, what happened to the song? So I'm like, well, I never released it. It has something to do with the distribution company, da-da-da. Fine. He was like, oh, that's good news because I want to revamp the song. Right? Great. Go to his house. He have a studio in his house. Don't knock it. Okay, because sometimes great sounds come out of
a lot of great
home
songs,
studios.
Grammys that's been won out of a bedroom.
So me and him, we already revamping the song. And then he's like, sis, he have another ah-bah-bah moment, right? And he's like, sis, I don't know. I think I'm hearing like another voice on this song. And I was like, oh. So me and my bro right here, we already been like in creating mode as we always are. Like we always talking about what we're gonna do next or whatever. And y'all hear his voice on the song, so y'all already know. Like, so I was like, oh. And
I think I was actually just starting my album Better Late Than Never.
He was just starting his album.
Yeah,
he was.
So you had been coming back and forth in the studio with me.
Yes.
And I think that's why I was like, oh, like, I might as well
I'm gonna do that for you. Yeah. Right, exactly. So we was like one here, watch the other.
Got to the studio, we recorded the song in New York. And we actually had a really dope. I always think the session was amazing.
I would never take that away from this.
It was like an amazing session. Like when you think creativity, when you think three people in a room just creating and making sounds, it was great. The only thing that really bothered me about that experience is in New York City, you guys like. Y'all get like Cheetos and stuff like that, like really orange and stuff. And I don't know, we went to this like bodega that was around there because we had all gotten like hoagies and stuff like that. And just like I'm from Philly and some of y'all chip
hero sandwiches.
Yeah, but whatever store we went to, they just had some weird.
It was the
cheese
bodega.
curls
It was
or
only
something
them
like
because
that.
I'm sorry, I'm a New Yorker, and Cheetos are supposed to be a certain color.
And these ones were like they were like a really strange color.
Yeah, it was like a mustard orange or something. It was just you could tell it was something you shouldn't be eating.
Yeah, but that was my only problem with that day. Like so, but everything else,
everything else was just fine. That day
was the food, like the food in that particular area. But it's like,
now what year was that? That was
in 2021.
2021.
So we were in like the heart of the pandemic.
COVID moment. And then now here we are with the mixing process. I don't know how many of y'all artists out there work with engineers that take forever to mix. And then you have engineers that can mix on the spot and it come out sound like a freaking gold record. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not even only that, we started getting mixes for this song, but they were sounding ridiculous. Because mind you, something's got to come back to you, mind you.
Now this is someone who said that they don't work with Prince, the late great. What's the other names they kept? Terry Lewis,
Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis over Jimmy, and that's what me and this guy really related on. We're both big Janet Jackson fans and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis fans. So we thought like it was going to be like a match made in heaven over here, and it's just like. It was nice. The studio sessions was nice. So, like
we were trying to get it to come out before
we
your
recorded
album.
Confessions, and I want to say like late November, early
It was
December.
winter, definitely winter.
And then we started having creative meetings for the music video.
Whole
and
entire Zoom meetings about the music video,
and everything with creative directors on the phone and ideas that we were supposed to be having.
Yes.
And we were counting on the song coming out like summer of 2022.
Creative directors hitting us up like, hey, is this a go? I got to make my schedule. Like, what are we doing? Then we stopped hearing from them.
We stopped hearing because we were like calling all the time, like
hitting them up.
Because I think like especially for me, I always felt like Confessions was going to be like this gateway or maybe introduction to my album Better Late Than Never, because it was actually always supposed to come out first,
right?
And then it was supposed to be my album. It was supposed to come out.
His album came out a year ago,
right?
This is why I want to make a point of saying that growing up, I knew this person since I was a kid. Like, we know each other. You know what I mean? Like, he's like a real brother to me. So, but again, I didn't know he was so into music production and engineering and music songwriting. I knew he was a choreographer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a little bit more history. When he created a song before, back in the day, he recorded a couple of other songs for me, okay, that I never released. The reason I never released them is because I wasn't happy with the mix.
Oh.
I told you that.
Just for that to happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he kept telling me he was good with it. He was good with it. He's good with it. So I was like, okay. Now, he did a great mix on Confessions the first time. He just didn't do a good mix on my other music.
Yeah, the version that only
original version.
You,
right. I just thought maybe he wasn't good at hip-hop music and pop music.
Right, but maybe he would understand R&B a little bit better as a musician. But there ended up being really big discrepancies with the mixes that were coming from it. Like, it was just bad.
It was like
like there was like a lot of your voices would sound like a sheep, and and I'm just like,
if you tell him, hey, there's a sound here, oh, that's you,
right? Yeah,
it's not me. I got the original draft,
right? And when you sent us home with like the original rough draft of the dry vocals, so we know what it sounded like.
We know I still got that.
Right, like, but then they would just like add too many filters and effects and things that we just didn't agree with, and it would take forever just to get a response to say, "Can you fix this? Can you do this?" Like a lot of people don't really know that like singers and engineer relationships are very important. What you hear on the radio or what you hear in the final product does not necessarily have to look like what was originally happening in the studio. It's a process.
So it ain't got to look like what I've been through.
Right. Okay?
You know. But here's a testament of you get what you pay for, because we wasn't paying for this.
Yeah.
Now
it's supposed to be a labor of love.
It was okay. But my thing is this: we supposed to be peoples, right? This is why you can never rely on whatever relationship you got with that person personally. Okay, I'd rather pay for a service than to not pay for it because somebody think I'm they bro or they sis and get an effed up job after it, or got to go through the ringer, and here we are freaking 3 years later and still no product. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that once we really got that understanding, is when we had to go to the idea that you get what you pay for, and we had to take our project elsewhere.
Right.
But for me, like I think this session was so special to me, like of just being around other creatives and creating and enjoying that. It still had a special place in my heart. I think at one point Rosetta was like, I don't even care about that song.
I've been said that.
But for me, like even once I got finished,
this is Sean's project.
Once I got finished working on my album, I really started like the quest, like, hey, I really still think that we should find like some life out of Confessions. Yeah. And knowing and behold, or whatever, however that expression goes, but lo and behold, whatever. I don't know. Like, so it's like, but we started going on a process of looking for producers who were going to create a track with us. But
sorry to the producers that we didn't choose.
Yeah.
We still love you. We think you're awesome.
And it's all, we love you. Yeah. It's all like,
thank you for the meetings that you had with us. Yeah.
My budget at Harmon Road Records doesn't like so it's like so we had to do what we could do.
We had to do
and
budget
thankfully
friendly.
Thankfully we ended up finding an agreement with a really dope producer named Sixth Floor.
Thank you so much, Sixth Floor.
Who is all the way over on the other side of the pond, but has always believed in Rosetta, and Rosetta believed in me and put us together. Yeah, shout out to the Sixth Floor. And we ended up finding the right track to go with a song that we ended up completely recreating. Yeah. I think like the only thing that is the same is that it's still called Confessions, but it's like a completely different song. It really is.
We even the verses are very different. Well, yeah, slightly different. I try to keep some of the idea of the song as at the time that me and the old producer girlfriend reconnected and started working together, I was in a new relationship. Yeah. And the new relationship was something where I knew this person from before. And we reconnected. He found me on Facebook. I wasn't out there to search for him. He found me on Facebook. He was in the middle of a divorce. And we confessed our like for each other. He basically confessed to me that he did like me and he always thought about me. That always thought about me part, sidebar. Because when a man comes talk about when I was married, I always thought about you.
Ooh.
And at the time, I didn't get it. And I was like, oh, you always thought about me? I wasn't thinking, wait, you married thinking about me?
Right.
Until he cheated 3 times. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
now I understand. When you was married, you was thinking about me. So who you think about now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we wrote a different song for that. It's called Petty. Go stream it.
Oh, right. And shout out to Sixth Floor for that.
Shout out
Because
to
Sixth
Sixth Floor
Floor,
for that
because
one.
Sixth
Okay,
Floor
Sixth Floor for
did
the
that
album,
record.
okay?
Yeah.
But so that's where Confessions came from. So baby, I know you
Know me.
That's like we knew each other. So now y'all get it.
So it's like a really cool background, you know, where it came from. And like I said, I always believed in this song. I'm glad that the song has, you know, expanded and found like a new place for both of us. Like, because, you know, just going back there and essentially just recreating the moment. And shout out to Castro, who engineered it.
Castro in the building from my old hood.
Yes. And just who, you know, we had
I found on Instagram, by the way.
Right. Like, you know, like social media just continues to connect people. And I think that that's super dope. You know, and I'm just glad because I really always just wanted to complete what we started. I was really sorry that it just didn't end up going the way that it was supposed to. And honestly, you know, we wish the previous producer well, but it's like, you know, we had a mission and we wanted to complete it, and I'm glad that we still got to complete it. And we hope that it's a message for anybody, like beyond like the confession song. You know, like if you have a vision, keep fighting for it, even when obstacles come your way. Like still stand up there and fight for what you want, because I think that that's what this song represents. And
shout out to you for that, though. Seriously, like shout out to my bro right here, because I tend to get frustrated in this industry.
I do too.
Yeah, you do too, but for my project, he was there for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I keep saying this is his project, because I gave up on it a long time ago. And I would be like, Sean, I don't care about this freaking song. I don't care about it. Just take it. You can have it. Take the words, whatever.
Right.
And he's like, no, sis, like, we should do this. Like, this is your song. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, because the person actually, you know, for me, it was a little deeper than just the song that I completed. This was someone who was like my best friend.
Yeah.
And, you know, we would pray together on the phone and we would connect on just so many other levels besides music.
Yeah.
And this person's part of my family, or was part of my family, because he knew everybody in my family and he was there for the funerals and the weddings. And you know what I mean? Like,
it was hurtful.
It was very hurtful, because what was hurtful was that there was never a conversation that he no longer wanted to do this project. It was a ghosting.
It was a ghosting, because there were several other artists that he was working with. Yeah.
You were on social media flaunting in my face that you was dealing with other freaking artists, but you was ignoring my phone calls. Through everything we both been through in our lives, we were there for each other, and I would never take that away from you. But what I don't like is that you wasn't man enough to have a conversation with your sister when you realized you couldn't or didn't want to do this project anymore. All you got to do is talk to me. That's what I'm more hurt about. And so, in your face.
Period.
And shout out to Sean for making this happen, because had it not been for Sean picking me up out of my moment that I've had so often, where I had to vet the way I just vetted just now.
Right.
And said, he listened to me, he said, okay, so are we gonna do the song though? Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
okay, you got that out.
Yeah, like no. I think that's great. Like that's what it's called. It's called confession. So I mean, we're confessing. We're being honest about this. And I think in this day and age, social media, like a song is not just a song anymore. It's like people want to know the background about it. They want to do other things. So we want to start the movement, like for everybody to, you know, create their confessions about somebody who they fell for, or somebody who they, you know, love, or somebody who might have hurt you, or whatever the situation may be that you want to confess about. Like, you know, I think that this is inspired. This song probably inspired a lot of my music too. That is the new music that's coming, that is going to be very vulnerable, and it's like we're putting it in the air that we're not going to hold it in anymore. We're going to be able to say what we want in a healthy way. You know, the healthy way is putting it back into music. That's what us artists should be doing. We should always continue to keep writing and use it as an outlet and keep creating. Yes. So we hope that you like it. Confessions by Rosetta Marie and Sean Ryne is out right now, and we hope to music produced by Sixth Floor. Exactly. So we love y'all. Thank you, and don't forget to keep confessing.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Confessions. These